is because you get too comfortable in the atmosphere. And if you notice, I was trying to think of any New Testament scenes which are inside a building. And people doing the work, like it's almost, people are out. They're heading out. They're talking to people. They're making some waves. There's not a lot of glimpses of what you would that you would say are the same as our modern vision of what church consists of what worship consists of what reaching out to people consists of. Like, we're relying on the building to draw people in, and there's not a biblical equivalent for that going on.
Right.
Well, and look at the stuff that Paul went through. If you're not totally familiar with Paul, he basically was. He didn't follow Jesus. He persecuted him. He grew up a Pharisee, or son of a Pharisee, who are the religious leaders of the time, and they he didn't buy Jesus' claims at all. He's like, this is garbage. Not only did he persecute the people who were following Jesus in his hometown, but he asked for permission to travel about and get the other people in other lands who were following Jesus. So he heads out, and the Lord stops him, blinds him on his way to Damascus, blinds him. And says...
That's Mike Damascus.
Yeah, Mike Damascus. I always get that confused. I always think wrong.
It's a different guy.
Yeah. Anyway, blinds Paul and says, listen, you're only hurting yourself here. What are you doing persecuting me? And he says, is that you, Lord? And he's like, yeah. He says, yeah, I'm the Lord. This is the deal. Here's what you're going to do. Blah, 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 blah. He flips it out. And so now Paul's on Jesus' side. He's walking around, saying, look, I've been there. I know what you're talking about. This is the deal. I talked to the Lord. Here's how it's going down. And... I've been reading through the book of Acts. This is why I'm all geeked up about this, so you have to bear with me. But the part that I love most about Paul is that they keep turning him over to the authorities for crimes that he didn't commit against authorities. Like, it'd be like me cheating on my wife and you guys taking me to the police station. Mm-hmm. And the police go, that's not an enforceable law here, friend. If that's against your own religion, then that's your deal. But that is not an enforceable law with the police station.
Yeah, work that out amongst yourselves.
Right, and that's what kept happening. His own people kept trying to take him to the authorities to have him arrested on no account. And this was my favorite part, and this is why I bring it up, and this is how it turns into the street Jesus thing, is Paul had every opportunity to back down off his sayings to save his own skin. And every time they bring him up in front of a ruler, he'd say, I'm glad I get to make my defense. Here we go. And then they'd free him. And then he'd go somewhere else, and they'd find a ruler above him. And then they'd arrest him, and they'd say, here's what he did, blah, blah, blah. And he'd say, I'm glad I get to make my own defense. Here we go. And that man defended himself against every leader of the land until they finally got him. But I mean, he never backed down one time, doesn't matter who they put him in front of. And the Lord would say, look, you're not going down this time, you're going to Rome. So say whatever you got to say. I'll get you out of this deal. We're moving on. Mm-hmm. And he was smart, and he was educated, and he had the Lord's wisdom with him. If you haven't read the book Acts, it'll geek you up. You got to watch. You got to get past all the he went to this town, because it won't make any sense to you. You're like, he went to this town. You're like, I don't even know the name of this town.
I've never been there.
Yeah, you'll get lost in it. But I mean, catch the main point that for whatever reason that I tend to break down with my my church Jesus. My Jesus fits in this building. And if I can just get people to church, that's where Jesus is. Paul's the exact opposite of that. Mm-hmm. And the early church is the exact opposite of that. Because the early church didn't start until you got Jesus out of your own house and went after everybody else that's standing around. I don't know. It really geeks me up.
Yeah, cool. I love it. I love Acts. I haven't read that for a while.
Now's the time, Daniel.
Now is the time.
Act on it.
Speaking of heading out, you are listening to Live from the Path on DesMoinesAmplified.com. Next week in the studio, Syndrome of Fire will be back. And they've got some... They've got some good news, exciting news, so we'll hear from them next week. The following week, I don't know, we're pulling for Cuff, might be in on the 31st. If not, we'll pull off another show without him.
Maybe. I don't know how we keep doing it.
But after that, so through the 31st will be our last show in our current studio. We are effective starting in February, we'll be moving to a new studio. And so that was, I don't know if anybody who signed up for the newsletter, that's one of the things that I'm asking you to kind of keep us in mind when you're praying, is that it's a pretty big move for us. We'll be
pretty exciting, though.
Yeah, it is.
Man, last week there was probably 3 nights I couldn't sleep. I was just roaming the house going, yeah, this could be good.
This could be great.
So I was like, go to sleep.
What can we use in this house? Can we use these pots and pans in the studio?
We don't use this TV, do we?
So we'll be moving to our, we're going to have our own studio. of which we will be broadcasting from. So we will continue doing Live from the Path at your normal time and span. So it'll still be 10 to midnight on Mondays. Starting in February, you will have to go to livefromthepath.org to watch.
Same interface though, right? Same chat and same.
Yeah. It'll be
It'll
on
look just like this.
Yep, it'll look just like it.
Except it won't say Des Moines Amplified.
Exactly. We won't be on Des Moines Amplified anymore. We'll be broadcasting straight from Live from the Path. So yeah, and yes. To the question on the chat, we will be having random people walk around to give the same atmosphere.
We're gonna hire people,
just like you see the Rent-A-Cops kind of behind us and stuff. We're gonna get some folks to kind of walk around.
And we are getting a large glass to put it.
Yeah, we're gonna get some big glass.
We're doing
in
this
there.
real time.
Yeah. It's gonna be slick.
There's going to be glass.
Yeah.
Be ready.
We'll call it the Crystal something.
We're looking for. We're going to have big. We can have full bands in there. Hopefully, is what we're shooting for. Is that we can have, a more expounded musical performance, and it may be a little bit more freedom to, get some more stuff done on the network. So we're pretty excited about it. But if you could keep it in your prayers and just have the Lord hit us where He wants us to do it and whatever. I'm excited.